welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you my Zephyrus G14. It's a laptop from Asus. It's very compact and powerful. It's got the Ryzen 4800Hs, Nvidia 1660 Ti, and I really like it. But what I was mainly worried about before I bought it was, could I game on it silently? Because I had a laptop before that was the Lenovo Y540 and it was way too noisy for me. The fan sounded like vacuum cleaners basically. So I'm gonna show you three settings: the default setting, silent setting with Nvidia GPU, and silent setting with the integrated AMD GPU. Let's go. Let's first take a quick look at the specs of the laptop. Mine, it's not the top model. Mine has a Ryzen 7 4800HS CPU, which is an 8-core 16-thread CPU. It's got a Nvidia GeForce 1660 Ti MaxQ on the 120Hz IPS display, because I mainly use it for gaming, so that's why I chose the 120Hz display. And it's brighter than the 1440p. With the 120Hz is about 320 nits. It's got 16 GB of RAM, 512 GB of NVMe storage, backlight keyboard, although one of the downsides of the laptop is that the backlight, the uniformity of the backlight isn't that good. It's not a big deal to me. Mine is the grey color. There's also a white version, and it's very light. It's 1.6 kilograms, and you can see the dimensions of it on the screen now. Okay, this is running with AMD graphics and turbo boost disabled and on the silent profile. Let's reset the decibel counter. I would call the room relatively silent now. You can see here that performance boost is disabled. It's on the silent profile. And I have it set to use power saving, which means it will use the internal GPU, which is the AMD, which is the one built in the CPU. The machine has been running already for 2 hours, so it should be warmed up. I have the volume so I can barely hear it. Reference. You can see on the overlay that GPU 1 is the AMD, GPU 2 is Nvidia. So I'm getting 70 FPS, which is fine for casual gaming. Let's look at the temps in a minute. Performance is fine. I can't hear the fans at all. Goblin pack. I can hear the fans a little bit now, but it's still very silent. You can see the temps on the GPU is 50 degrees, 51-2 degrees. It should be the same, basically the same temp as the CPU since you're running on the integrated GPU. And blue coupling. Okay, also let's look at the temps now after I've looked at everything. Oops, the screen on the phone went out. So it's, with the fans it's around 30 decibels, which is very quiet. And the temps. Maximum CPU temp we got was 54. Maximum GPU was 47, but that's the Nvidia one. So let's try with another setting. So now I'm gonna try Diablo with the Nvidia GPU. It's the only thing I'm gonna change. Set to high performance now, which means it will use the Nvidia GPU. You can see now that the GPU 2 is the one that's boosting or activating. I should point out that the GPU is undervolted. So the machine is running on a silent profile, the turbo boost for the CPU is disabled, and the GPU is undervolted, but we're running the Nvidia, and instead of 60-70 we're getting 90 to 100 frames. The volume on the game is set to very low, so I can barely hear it, just for reference. The fans are already ramping up a little bit more than before. It's at 35 decibels when I'm not talking. It was around 30 with the integrated GPU. So not much difference, but I can hear the difference. $38.7 now maybe. I would still call this a relatively quiet machine. You could game in it in the living room with the wife next to you. So I think it gets to about 40 decibels with these settings. Overall, I'm very happy with this laptop. It's very nice. The keyboard is nice. The trackpad is very nice. The speakers are actually surprisingly good. One of the best speakers I've heard in a laptop. Build quality is great. Almost as good as a unibody machine. This is a terrible map. Okay, so let's look at the temps. Machine feels a little bit warmer than before. Now temps went to 61 degrees, 63 degrees on the GPU, and you can see it's not boosting to the 4 GHz because I disabled turbo boosts. And next I'm gonna run with everything default or maxed out at the turbo profile. So let's set it to the turbo settings. To do that, I go to Armory Grid, turbo, go to the power settings. Now it's high performance. Enable its default set to aggressive, so I'm gonna set it to aggressive. And I'm not gonna undervolt the GPU. So it's a little bit of an overclock, but not much. You can see the CPU now goes to 4.3 GHz. Let's reset it. Reset the decibel counter and relaunch the game. You can see now it's using the Nvidia GPU. And we're getting over 100 now, 110. So it's definitely faster. Let me clean up the inventory. Gate and fans are definitely a lot louder now. I would call this a loud laptop. I wouldn't game this with these settings in the living room with the wife next to me. I can barely hear the audio in the game because of the fans. Let's look at the tabs when we're done. So 50 to 55 decibels. CPU temps are 60 degrees. The turbo fan profile is just too aggressive, I think. Well, let's see, I can't monitor the CPU with the overlay, but that could be warmer. But it's a nice way to heat up the machine. It's been running for a few hours, so it's already close to equilibrium. Okay, let's look at the temps. The CPU maxed at 92 degrees, which is way too warm for my liking, and the GPU went to 68 degrees. Okay, so to summarize, yes, you can easily game silently on this laptop, so I'm very happy with it. With the integrated iGPU, the temperature never got above 54, and on more demanding titles it got to around 60. And with the Nvidia GPU in the silent profile, it was also very quiet. But as soon as it got to performance and turbo profiles, it got too noisy for me to game without a headphone or in an environment where I'm not disturbing others. So I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.